4,
long, but
3,
also, yeah.
2. We're back, baby. Hello, people of the internet. It is 7:07 on November 10th, 2024. It's me, your friend, Chris Kennard, aka the Princess of Port Richmond, aka Ham Kavina. First of her name, long shall she reign. I am joined, as ever, by my friend, your friend, the GOAT himself, Haystack West, good old Los. Hello, Los. How are ya?
Hi, how are you?
Still hits the same. Put one in the air if you doubt it.
Yes.
Let's just keep it a buck. We've been away from each other for far too long. My lo siento. Like this year has been good, but it's also kicked my fucking ass. But
Same.
you've been
This year's
very
been
patient.
pretty.
You feel the same. You've had a similar experience. I hear.
Oh, whole year has me in the motherfucking sharpshooter. So I'm Austin at WrestleMania 13, bleeding and screaming right now.
What?
Yeah, it's heavy, but we'll figure it out.
Okay, y'all. So as you can tell by the title, it's been a few minutes. So a lot has happened in music, entertainment, and politics. We're here to talk about all of those things because, in the past, it's just like, you chat about like the ways of this world, but you carry on about your day. But come January, things will be different in a different kind of way. And maybe perhaps we should talk about how we got here, because I know a lot of folks are confused. And I remember in 2016, when it happened the first time, I said to myself, there's no way I'm not going to be just cognizant of everything around me on the world stage. And Lord knows I don't know everything now, but I've learned a lot. And one thing I'm kind of relieved about this time around is that we have way more like folks verifying their sources and posting correct analytics and statistics. Because I'll be the first to admit, as a third party voter, they were getting the pitchforks ready for me. And I think that for those who took a hard stance against Vice President Harris, it's one thing because it's one thing if you disagree with her about any specific policy of hers. Usually the Democrats they get lucky and pull it off, but smarter people than me have informed the public, the American public, is that the Democrats didn't come to win, but that's kind of been their mission statement for our entire lives. Because I can go back to when I was in third grade, going to public school for the first time and hearing just the chatter of go Gore, boo Bush. I didn't know what the fuck that meant, but it didn't matter because he won anyway. And I also recently, during the race, people were this one black woman, I don't remember her name, she said that the evil of yesteryear is not as evil as the current one. And whatever would she mean by that, in the sense that in regards to the Gaza Israel thing, if Israel's on some blow them up type time, the president's hey, cut that shit out, or I'm not sending you any more money. And they're all right, say less. And this was during the Nixon era and the W. Jr. era. All it took was a phone call saying bro, we don't play that. Can you not? Because I pay for that shit. Don't. And somehow that was too much for Biden and Harris to consider. Because had they did, you bring in so many more votes if that was actually your focus on winning. Because we've seen the statistics where the people ran the simulation of Biden winning. Had they not brought in Harris, he was going to get smoked like some fish, and they still let that man cook. Every I feel in life, every crew needs a person to talk down the leader. We can't do this. That's not going to work. If you I'm here because you love me and you trust me, don't do the thing. And a lot of people don't have those people, say a Kanye West, not a person who says, that ain't gonna fly, don't do this, let's do something else.
exactly.
And
Yes,
like, why
ma'am, on
have all
that.
these people around me in my cabinet, like who work under me, if I can't be stopped, or if I don't trust them? Because if there's one thing I can't stand about like elders, it's like literally I know best, because not because I have a
Right.
reason to justify my actions, just because it's the way that I want them to be. Therefore, I'm going to do that thing. And now we are all paying the fucking price.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I figure for like the first hour, we like discuss just like the meal of the day, because
Yeah.
anyone who knows me personally knows how like SJW progressive I am about all this shit. But like, you, good old Los, are a regular degular. You are the salt of the earth. You are,
Oh.
for lack of the lack of the term, my average Joe. You talk to more people who are like outside of my window in regards to just like it's the problem with the left is that we keep on thinking that, like, and I'm not the person who said this. That shout to Olayemi, Lauren, the Laurenati. She was like, the problem with the left is that we think that the world is more left than it is, and it's not. We are the minority. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And so, like, as a person who goes out in the world on a regular basis, like working, like smoking, like chopping it up with the homies, like, how has this experience been for you? Did you like go? Did you like have to like? Did you? Because I mailed in, right? And
Yeah.
did you like go to like the polling place? Like, what was like the environment like? What's your perspective on the world at large, and what's coming and what has been?
Well, my polling place is ironically a rivalry middle school. So
Oh, the ops.
nevertheless,
Man, GMS did the death of me, bro.
I went voting with both my parents,
That's
and
so sick.
sure. my, my, my,
No
my,
comment.
my, my thing is it's 7:30 in the morning. It's like
Oh shit.
45 degrees outside, and I'm cranky because I'm not a morning
Yes.
person. So all
Yes.
I want to do is just get in, get my vote in, and go home, go back to sleep.
Amen.
so so meanwhile, however, my parents, they old, so talkative. So
Amen.
so they having whole conversations with people in line, so on and so forth. And I mean, I had one earphone in because, again, still trying to compose my mood. And
Amen.
meanwhile, I'm still like hearing like outside chatter from my other ear. And yeah, everything sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
everything sounded good. Meanwhile, we finally get let into the polling area, which is just a
Yeah.
cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
And my like next door neighbor, she's one of the people that's running the polls or whatever. So
Yeah.
I say what's up to her. My parents, they're having a whole conversation with her. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting to get my stuff done.
Yeah.
Uh, so finally I went in. I go to vote, yada yada, what have you, and that was that. And so we fast forward to, because nothing eventful happened that entire day for me personally, but we fast forward to around what 9-10 o'clock that night, and Kamala Harris is getting smoked and packed right at the moment.
The Democrats lost all 7 swing states this election. And I want to add to that, like, I voted for like the incumbent for the senator here in Pennsylvania because of reproductive rights. Like, one of my friends personally reached out to me and says, please vote blue for the Senate race because I fear for my rights. And I'm like, that really like upset me that my friends were like that concerned that like how shaky things were. And I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? And the incumbent, the Democrat incumbent lost to a motherfucker who doesn't live in Pennsylvania. He just owns a shit ton of property, and he swept. Yeah. I can't believe it.
Did you crush those Starbursts?
No.
I want to get a few so I can do this guy.
Yeah, sure.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah. Skylar must try it. Had to give some to my niece real quick.
Gangster.
She must know what it must be. She must know what it's like. Also, her father, big fan of Starburst, much like her uncle. So
all in the family.
You know what I'm saying? But
yes,
hey,
sir.
so I'm looking at this and I'm going, huh? They really meant that y'all get just one, huh?
Bruh.
They meant that shit.
Like, I think even like a day before the election, right? I'm listening to a podcast about Vice President Harris because, admittedly, I didn't even know who she was until she ran the first fucking time. And so one of the guys I follow on TikTok and on Twitter, like, he's like, hey, like, here's 45 minutes about her entire political career. And I'm like, fantastic. Give me the cliff notes. You know what I'm saying? So by like all specifics off the table, of course she'd run for president. You get me? But here's the issue. Here's where things get specific. They chose I forget who said it, but like they ran a campaign like it was still 2012, like Obama 2. You get me? And you can't do shit like that because as we saw with the first like Trump term, things can go sideways literally within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker was sending rockets to Iran in the first year of the presidency. We thought we were cooked then.
I'm saying, man. I'm saying. So the whole time, right? It's like at this point, it's like 11 o'clock or so. And I'm starting to see the poll. The voter poll that has been floating around now for the last few days.
Yeah.
Right. And I just looked at that and I said, oh, that's nasty work. That's literally all I could say. Oh, this is nasty, nasty work.
Good Ole Los. This man had less votes than he had the last time he ran against Joe, and he still pulled it out of his ass.
Buddy, they said he won North Carolina. I was like, well, that's expected. But then he won Pennsylvania. I said, oh, we're done here then. We're fucking done here.
The only blue specks. The only blue specks are my city and Pittsburgh, bro.
I think the only thing that like was a saving grace for me and like not falling apart and all this. Well, two things. One, weed. Two, the fact that I literally watched this entire, race from an ironic comedic point of view.
What else can you do at this point?
I mean, yeah, but also it's like the more sarcastic I got about it, the more enjoyable it was, because it's like after a certain point of frustration, all you can do is chuckle. You know what I mean?
Bro, so, like I was watching like the
go ahead.
like Mero, he goes live on Twitch, and I'm thinking I'm on Twitter all night. I'm getting depressed. I'm getting I don't know how to feel. I'm like, let me go on this Mero streamer quick, and he's watching the ABC footage. This man got so mad he stopped the stream because Madison is obviously having a smoke. Like he looked pissed and just cut the shit off, and I'm like, oh no. And I'm
was that pissed, huh?
Bruv. So because 2016, I'm stressed. I go to sleep. I wake up to this shit. This time I'm like, I'm trying to stay up, but I'm like, I'm it's a very stressful time in the house. So I go to bed. I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh fuck. Did she pull it off? No, fam. No shot.
There is no pulling whatsoever of the off. And side note, that's fascinating. And side note, I that episode of Victory Light when they come back is going to hit like cooked crack. As soon as Lisbeth calls America stupid bitches with emphasis,
you bitch.
Oh, the emphasis she's gonna have on bitches. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait because
shit is so off.
She's gonna be one. I'm gonna be one of the people she speaks for when she says it on air. You know what I'm saying? Because, woof.
Yo, shout out to the super bitch in New York one time. The GOAT, bro. Shit is so off that your boy Rainey posted a motherfucking manifesto on his shit.
Man, dog. It
watch out for that, boy.
This affected a lot of people, and my thing is like, all right, so yeah, let's go ahead and finish the quick timeline here. So by the time he took the Pennsylvania, and I said, oh, this is over. This motherfucker won. All I could do is just like go back to playing college football 25 until I went to bed. Woke up the next morning, just like, looked at, just felt the temperature on social media. And, whoo boy, black women said, we're done.
We've done enough. Carried you motherfuckers to the birth of this country. And
yet. So my thing is, number one, I completely get it because Kamala Harris was, in a way, a symbol of Black female America, and the fact that 9 times out of 10, they're the voice of reason to get this country's shit together one way or another, whether it's just, locally or countrywide. Like I think of Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib both retained their seats during this race. And because again, motherfuckers was like, oh, like even if like Kamala like said that like they'd end like the genocide, still would have pulled it off. Okay, but still like principles still like, because again, Rashida Tlaib got censured by Congress and still retained her seat because she was standing on motherfucking principle. Exactly. And like because her community understood, oh, she's doing a good job in our streets. We can rely on her to represent us at the national table. But like the squad is done. Like the squad as we've come to know it, cooked. We don't have time for we don't have time for these symbolic gestures any longer. Like a lot of this shit that we're doing is it's going back analog. Like motherfuckers are gonna have to start meeting in person again. You know what I'm saying? Like if your shit's not encrypted in 2025, it's done.
Yeah.
Scrub the servers. It's cooked. You're done.
And not only that, the first thing this motherfucker said as president on his first day, he gonna try to do some shit that pretty much fucked with free speech for the most part. I forgot
journalism is cooked.
I forgot the wording of it exactly, but it's just an invasion of the protection of the First Amendment. All in all, it's like I get it. You Trumpsters, you're gonna say it must not be true because I can't remember it. You also gotta remember I'm smacked as fuck right now, so like give me a fucking break, bro.
How else are motherfuckers these days? For real, bro.
Also, my thing is mentally how my mind is hardwired to work. I break wording down to be able to explain things to a kindergartner, because if you can't explain it like you're explaining it to a kindergartner, it's too complicated to be done anyway in the first place.
Do you think I know it, like as smart as you think I think I am? Do you think I know what a fucking electoral college is? No. Do you think I give a shit what an electoral college is? No. All I know is that you motherfuckers say it don't work, but you don't get rid of it. Is it yay or is it nay?
I got a thing or two about what the electoral college is. Basically, the electoral college are essentially the representative of the people for their representative states. And my thing is, it's like, if my state is choosing one person to be president, at that point, my vote didn't necessarily count the way I wanted it to, or the way I feel like it needs to, as an individual citizen of the United States of America. And so, again, I just sat with all of this and thought about this entire race in general, how much of a farce it was on one side, and the farce actually worked. And meanwhile, yeah, the other side, they're trying to be so performative that they pretty much worked themselves into a shoot, and
Yes, I was so glad you said it like that.
It lost them the election. And that's the thing about America. It's really good at working themselves into a shoot, because we're not the country we claim to be
At all, dude.
We're not far off from it. However, from the standpoint of the gimmick that we sell, we are not that anymore. We're just not that, because we're supposed to be the land of opportunity. And in the document that honestly might need to be revised at this point, because
it was
it
written by
doesn't
slave owners.
it only represents 3/5 of me. So but nonetheless, the 3/5 of me, it will tell you that it's the basic get down of America is that its citizens achieve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Pursuit of happiness. Yo, and like,
we're not checking the boxes on that. We're just not.
Fuck no, dude. It's like, because America's like, look at us. We are a land of freedom and opportunity. So motherfuckers who were downtrodden elsewhere in the world said, "Oh, word, we'll be right there," and they pulled the fuck up, and they got busy in spite of all the bullshit. How many times have we heard of people who come to America like just with like accolades out the ass? I studied here, I worked here, I'm proficient in this, and America's like, that's not good enough, go do that bullshit over again. And you know what those people said? Fuck it, I'll do it again because I'm that good. And then after all that shit, still get a fraction of what they deserve. And it's like, hey man, it's better than where I was. And like, it could be from anywhere, and mugs still just keep the shit pushing. I could never do that. I'm not built that way. I have a friend right now, I'm not gonna say his name, he knows who he is, has the opportunity to start over somewhere new, but he's like, I'm not leaving here to avoid persecution to be persecuted someplace else. That's not why I'm trying to leave. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so for that. My fear, my thinking was like, yo, you have a chance to like get out while the getting is good, and now the getting isn't good in the blink of an eye.
Yep, drop of a hat. And that's the thing. Like, we're starting to become everything we hate, or everything we say we hate. I think we only hate it because we're not in control of it, and we want to be in control of it. So once we get in control of it, it becomes a normal thing. And that's the thing about America. It's like, yo, y'all aren't selling what y'all are merchandising. Like, y'all are freedom merchants, and y'all aren't acting as such.
Sorry, we're all like, it's like going to a Jamaican restaurant and they're like, oh, you got like the curry goat? Oh, we're out of that.
Yeah, we're pretty much out of oxtail. And at this point, we need to, really think long and hard about who we are as a country at this point, because this might be it's said before, but as far as our identity goes in this country, this may be the turning point where we are not the freedom country anymore. We're pretty much you could come here, but there's a certain, set of people that you must obey. And at this point, again, we're just slowly becoming something that isn't identifiable with democracy.
All right. So like people who voted for Trump, right, who are not white, want a piece of that. They want the privileges of whiteness. And for what it's worth, and for the record, whiteness is made up because everybody had to come from somewhere. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Whiteness is not real. It is a made up motherfucking concept. I was listening to one podcast and they said the Republicans, they can get busy because they can prey upon the fear of white people who think they're going to get replaced. And that always made no sense to me because it's like y'all still outnumber everyone in the motherfucking country, even if like more and more people if more and more people are being born like mixed race, biracial, what have you. But there's still like a fuck ton of y'all. And even if even if everyone in the world, even if everyone in America is like mixed or biracial, there are so many other white countries in the world around you. So never really understood that. My whole thing is like, again, if not like preying on like the fear of white people, it's like they're preying on like the working class. It's like, oh, if you're poor, like guess why you're poor? And it's like, no, it's not like your neighbors who aren't white. It's these dickheads who have all the money. I heard today, this afternoon, listening to like people like this discussing the aftermath of the race. Like Elon Musk put in like 100 mil and he got back billions of dollars investing on Trump. And like, I don't think it, and I do not believe it. I do not believe it's because this man is smart or a good business person. He's just turned failing upward into an art. And
pretty much.
I know, and all human beings fail. I don't want to, if I'm going to fail upward, I'm not failing upward by myself. Sorry, I'm taking the squad with me. It's like, bro, I took an L, but like it's somehow turning into a W. Here's your chunk. You know what I'm saying? Like tell everybody that we back up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not keeping that shit to my fucking self. It's like, it's clear that motherfucker like latched on to Donnie because he's like, I'm taking so many L's. I need a place to hide because they're going to come to get me. And Elon, baby, we still coming, just so you know. It doesn't matter where you hide. And for the record, this is all parody, what I'm saying right now. But son, we taking every one of them M's. We gonna give your kids most of it, but then the rest is for us. You know, no way you get to ruin automobiles and space and Twitter. Nah, son, your number is coming, respectfully. And parody, for the record.
I'm gonna tell you in seriousness, not in parody. I'm looking
Allegedly.
to migrate. No. I'm looking to migrate away from Twitter.
Yeah, bro, I'm so glad you said that because literally the day before Trump gets inaugurated, I'm locking my shit and I'm never coming back.
Yeah, man.
December is the last month I'm on Twitter. On Christ.
That's because I found an app similar to Twitter, which might I add, I saw a report that Jack Dorsey is encouraging people to leave that app, and I'm not going to say the app out loud because that's how.
You mean BS?
Yeah, and
I'm on there now. Oh, you know why? You know why? Because he's not involved in BS anymore. He basically got pushed out of BS.
Oh, they pushed him out.
Oh yeah, he's out of here.
Oh, bet.
He's being salty as shit. It's like
even better.
Yup.
So what? This is like a crowdsourced site now, or like who runs it?
You'll have to like talk to some tech. You have to like follow like the tech news. And this is why I'm so glad we're talking, because like this, like because of what's gone down, I can like share all the sources that I've been getting all my fucking information on. Because like again, not a politician, not an activist. I'd love to be an abolitionist, like a real deal abolitionist someday, but I have not done the work. But I listen to people who have, who actually do want to help their neighbors, their fellow country people who want to help the world around them. And my whole thing about like people who want to like debate and argue about shit, my whole thing is speak to me directly if you disagree with what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna like quote tweet me or something, make sure I can see it, so I can hear how I'm wrong and what I can do to not be wrong anymore. And if it's like, if I say like, oh, like the sky is blue, yeah, prove that shit. I will show you where I saw that it says the sky is blue. And if you disagree with me, like clearly you're disagreeing with the information that I've given you. Because I'm not trying to tell y'all nothing that I can't verify my fucking self. Long gone are the days of like, oh, just go Google it, do your own research. Because now when you Google shit, they're using AI, and that shit uses up water that we need to drink. So like, I will show you the source myself. I will send you the link so you can read it for yourself. Like, I'm not gonna let you get lost, because oftentimes when you do your own research, you get caught by motherfuckers who want to lead you down the wrong direction.
You want to hear something funny that I thought of the other day? Side note: AI on Google is pretty much Google Cliff Notes,
and they're not even good Cliff Notes. They're wrong half the time.
And why do you need a Cliff Notes Google?
I want to find the information, like
for all that motherfucking Ask Jeeves.
Bro, shout out to my nigga Jeeves one time, bro.
But anyway, so I like literally sat and thought about all this, and I literally thought to myself, I can't in good conscience still ride with the Democratic Party after all this. I'm damn sure not going to Republican. And so I also thought of the last bit of this secret base channel on YouTube. It's a series called Pretty Good, and the like sub series of this show is called Reform.
Shout out to the host, by the way,
John Boyce, who doesn't know, but I'm probably one of his biggest fans these days.
That's so tight.
Yeah, man, dog. I am.
You're learning. Is it learning fun as shit?
It is fun. Learning is fun as shit, especially when you have like stats and charts and such that like move around.
Verified
and things like
information.
That. It's fun. And at any rate, he tells you the story about the Reform Party of the 1990s and
we did not learn this shit in high school, by the way.
Oh, of course not, because it was a third party. But
hey,
the Reform Party began as a man that essentially threw out the like line, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And basically he was just saying, hey, listen, America, wow, fucked up. And it's the politicians' fault. We need to clean this shit up. We need to have a party of people that are dedicated to making America a better place. That's how it began.
How all things do. Yo, you know what's so wicked? I just Googled Reform Party. You can go to their org right now. And at first, as you're explaining it to me, I'm thinking this basically sounds like the Working People's Party that's based out here in like the tri-state area. But like, well, that's the problem with grassroots, right?
Let me continue because
please,
although I encourage you strongly encourage you to watch all three parts, because it's such a well put together story, like well narrated by John, all that, you know what I'm saying? But you haven't seen it yet, so to summarize without really like, you know, spoiling it, basically it that's how it starts, right? Well, a charismatic politician, later this party kind of like plant seeds for destruction. However, they did have a champion in that same guy that Hulk Hogan snitched on when they were trying to unionize.
Oh, Ventura.
The Body. He was also a front runner in the Reform Party for a period of time too. Well, then a whole bunch of weird shit started to happen, and next thing you know, like Pat Buchanan is the head of the Reform Party. Who is such a like shitty person, and and the Reform Party becomes a party so racist, Donald Trump don't even want to fuck with it.
Yikes.
Let that sink in. Exactly. So,
yikes.
With that being said, 2000 election comes around, and that goes down the way that goes down.
Yeah.
And while that's as that leading up to that, the Reform Party is slowly dying because they pretty much kick out the person that kicked off this entire Reform Party. The man that put out that article that said, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." And so at that point, the Reform Party lost its heart and soul. So now you got Pat Buchanan racist ass running for the Reform Party, and he gets less than like 7% of the vote, and only because they went back and realized motherfuckers like mistakenly voted for him. They're trying to vote for somebody else. But the ballot was like weirdly shaped and confused some people. However, nonetheless, John Boyce essentially brings home the entire series with a very profound thought that like really made me like think strongly, right?
Okay.
And he says, and I'm trying to go through it as quickly as possible while also like doing it in his voice. The near quarter century has been defined by a relatively quiet unwinding of ideas of justice and fairness and things operating like they're supposed to, punctuated by catastrophic events so fundamental to our history that they claim entire years. Some were acts of God, at least in part, but while most developed nations would have adequately invested and mobilized to contain the destruction, we learned that our leaders were too inept, negligent, and ultimately indifferent to do the same. Others were entirely man-made, soup to nuts. And when the man who made them saw zero consequences, we were reminded that the leaders you put in office are in service of them, not you. These definitional events have taken very different forms, but they all share two signature qualities. First, they're all not only avoidable in part or in whole, but in many cases actively, infuriatingly, horrifyingly opted into. Second, it is both major parties who are responsible for them. Sometimes they more or less take turns. Other times they join equal forces and equal measures. There is a world in which both those parties would suffer defections on a massive scale as a consequence. But our votes are often informed by not what we want, not what we believe in, but by what appears less dangerous. It's hard to blame us for retreating to that calculus because the alternatives become more commiserating with every passing year. But what it means is that the onus has shifted. It's no longer their responsibility to win you, which is, I swear to God, the way it once was to a considerable extent. Now, the responsibility is yours to get in line, and if you don't, and if they fall short, especially by a small margin, it's not their fault for failing to sufficiently reflect the people's will and fight for the things that most need fighting for. It is your fault for everything that comes after. Interestingly, you tend to catch a lot more flack if you vote third party than if you don't vote at all, despite it making no mathematical difference. Those that voted for Nader in 2000 heard it. Those that voted for Joe Stein in 2016 heard it. Your selfishness, your juvenile impulses, your nihilistic drive to throw away your vote is what doomed us all. So you voted for us last time and we're left out in the cold? Well, you need to vote for us for a second time. Voted for us 3, 4, 5 times, and you're fed up with being ignored, you have no right to be fed up. Do the math and fall in line. We're the only chance you've got. Hold your nose and walk in there and pull the curtain and punch the hole and shut the fuck up. And you know what's the most intolerable, unbearable part of that is? It's a nagging, unrelenting idea that they might be right. At the risk of being condescending for something that you did not ask permission for, there's only one and there's one and only one argument I will allow myself to make with full and absolute confidence. You are not wrong to consider a third option. You're not wrong to think about it, to talk about it, to want it, to vote for it, to advocate for it, to help organize it. You are allowed to have this. This is idealism. It might be juvenile. It might be strategically unsound, and on the spoke of this will, at least, is probably likely to fail by at least some measure. If it ever does succeed, it might be so far down the will you'll never see it. But it's all yours.
Yo, I gotta say something, bro. Like there is this one dude on TikTok I was listening to speak about, oh, what do we do? What are our options? And maybe you've heard this before. He mentioned the concept of ranked choice voting. And it's been a while since I've read up on it, but for the most part, it's just that you literally see every available option to you and you organize them from like, I want it versus I don't want it. And it seems as though a lot of like red and blue organizations do not care for ranked choice. They just want to make the choice for you. This is our person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going to vote for them or not? When I filled out my ballot this year, there were 5 options: president, attorney general, like local rep, and senator. The 5th option only had 1 option on it, the Democratic option, and no other option. And from my naive point of view, I'm very much, if there's only one person available for me to choose, why am I even voting for it?
Exactly.
Take that shit off.
What's the point?
Take that shit off my motherfucking ballot if I'm only allowed to see the one thing, and let alone explain to me what that, because I couldn't tell you what the fuck the position is even for. But I'm like, if I knew what it was, because like my thing is like, if you're on the ballot, I'm gonna Google you, I'm gonna see your website, I'm going to look at your options. Like I voted green in 2 categories. As I mentioned before, like the red line for me was like the Palestine shit. So the Green Party said, if we win this bitch, we're doing the ceasefire. That's all that I fucking wanted. That's why I chose what I chose. Now, later, I see this motherfucker Dr. Stein say, I have deep ties to Israel. And just like hosted on like trying to sweep up all the folks who wanted to see an end to the violence. And I'm like, you should be a motherfucking ashamed of yourself using all those fucking dead kids to get them donor dollars. Inexcusable shit to me, dog. I've never been so bamboozled in my life.
Oh, I got a hard truth for all of you. and oh boy, it's a hard fucking truth too. Because y'all are not going to want to hear this shit. It did not matter who was going to wind up in office. We were not going to cease fire on Palestine.
Certainly not. And I knew that. Like I didn't choose green because I knew that she would win. I was like, this is the one thing that matters to me as a voter, which is why I'm voting this particular way. And man, I cannot wait to see like the karmatic aftermath of you dickheads trying to like utilize people's actual trauma and pain. Like motherfuckers like literally mourning like their whole family lives being eviscerated from the earth. And if it was not Palestine, it'd be one of the other 13 motherfucking humanitarian crises happening right now, most of which are in fucking Africa, by the way.
They might be next. So I'd like to add one more thing as well, right? At this point, the way we pushing for Israel as a collective country, not like, individually or whatever, but the way we are
not anti-Semites in this bitch. We are like what's called, the Jewish people are very important to me. You know what I'm saying? Facts.
I think we've gone farther. We've driven further than trying to prove we're not anti-Semitic. I think we have an ulterior motive in all this. And if we do, that kind of makes things a bit disgusting.
Oh, 100%. Because we're like, again, we're giving like the nation state a blank check to shoot on all their neighbors. I was listening to a motherfucking podcast where like it was some folks from the brown community, and like their guest was in Lebanon, and he was like, hey, I was supposed to come visit y'all this winter, but now I don't think that's gonna happen. And I'm like, these mugs were just cooling, not even just living their lives, and mugs just started throwing rockets and shit. And when Muggs is like, hey, bro, if you ain't just gonna throw rockets at us, like, you can just like do that shit, bro. Look, you got motherfucking civilians just like doing they shit, living their motherfucking lives, and you're blowing up their shit.
Which
bro,
brings,
I don't want no one to do that to nobody, anywhere.
I hear you, but however, this also brings me to again, a hard truth that nobody wants to listen to, but it's the truth. America really thought that they were arrogant enough to involve themselves in a biblical era rooted war.
I ain't got nothing for that. I ain't got nothing for that. I'd rather hear that. I'd rather hear that kind of like perspective from the butcher themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the butchers don't remember.
That's where I'm kind of lost, honestly. Like, I feel like if we're taking it to a biblical point, like it almost feels like a waste of time when we take it to like a biblical point of view. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
because especially Americans, they don't have time for taking it to like a religious spiritual place. They don't have time for that. They don't have time for the intangibles.
No,
you know what
doubt.
I'm saying?
No doubt. However, I thought the same thing too. However, when I have spent this past few times trying to get you to explain to me what was that conflict entirely about, and you were
this was even before October 2nd It was even before October 7th when we had the conversation, and I didn't even know shit even then what I thought I knew.
Well, after October 7th,
for that matter.
After October 7th, I thought about what you had been trying to teach me, and I was like, well, let me actually deep dive into this as deep as I possibly am able to, not try to, but let me get smacked and watch YouTube videos about this shit. Let me see what this is about. That's
murky.
It's where she get murky, but I went to a source that gave me the entire conflict up to
Do you remember where you
point, up to October.
Do you remember where you watched it?
I wish I saved that fucking video. I really do, because
that's what motherfuckers get caught up. You get me?
Because it was an educational animated video. You know what I'm saying?
And I wonder who because I specifically in regards to what I've seen and what I've learned and what I've heard, if not from people personally with families still over in the region, I have specifically referred to AJ Plus, Middle Eastern Eye, and Al Jazeera, specifically as the big ones. But I feel like anyone now who wants to learn, if anyone who feels a specific type of way about learning more about the Palestinian struggle and things like that, I specifically recommend the BDS for for just as far as just having the background and the verified info. I wouldn't recommend things like the Red Cross and things like that, because those are the kind of orgs that get stopped at the border who can't provide aid. I also recommend because every time I put a stream out, I specifically recommend I would have even said World Central Kitchen, but they got blasted when they pulled up to feed folk. But Arab.com and rescue.org are the two that I specifically recommend. I put them in all of my streams because they're the ones that because rescue.org is the organization that even put me hip to the fact that there were 13 Johns humanitarian crises happening all at once about Sudan, about Congo, about the DROC, you know what I'm saying, about fucking Nigeria. I'd even recommend because I do content with Ole Los. His father's a journalist that's covering what's going on in Nigeria and the surrounding regions and such.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So and shout out to Ole Los, by the way, man.
Yeah.
He's been carrying this channel in our absence.
But yeah, I was watching it, and they pretty much began with, to start with how this came about recently, we have to go back to the root of it all, essentially. And this was the King Solomon and King Judah era, where Solomon and Judah, they had a conflict over land because there was one king that passed away, and that one king was essentially the tithe of both of those lands, and he bestowed the two lands upon those two equally. Well, then they just started beefing over the land or whatever. So that was like the first, crusade / wars that came about, which eventually, like, around the world wars, during the Holocaust, so on and so forth, the Jews who initially
Jewish people.
fled, Jewish people who initially fled the area, they came back to from Germany, of course, for obvious reasons. And while Palestinians had, went on and occupied that space that the Jewish folk fled initially, they could have, let them kick it in that land. Like it ain't like we've done segregation before, right? But
No,
anyway,
here's where but hold on though. But like here's where like things like get super murky for me, right?
yeah.
Because like, so I guess like, so for those who like, I guess for anyone who's not like cognizant of what life is like over there, you would make, I presume like I would presume the average American would just like presume that like Palestine is like an Islamic nation, when in reality you got the big three all like living in like harmony. You got Palestinian Jewish folk, you got Palestinian Christians, and you got Palestinian practicing Muslims. You know what I'm saying? I think because like and to anyone who's made this like their bread and butter, like please feel free to like cite your sources in the comments. Like it's just that like in the same way that we pulled up on Japan and Hawaii, Muggs came in guns ablazing, like back the fuck up, we're taking some space. And that is to say, the Zionists, which is like the crux of the beef for me. You know what I'm saying? Because because Zionism is rooted in violence. It'd be one thing if like, because I said it to you on your porch. It'd be one thing if Muggs was like, we have all like these displaced like minorities who need a place to go, and it'd be one thing if like we gave like countries the opportunity to say we'll take in as many as you got because we have X amount of space. When like from my vantage point, it was org saying like, we going over there and we finna take it no, like we finna not take no for an answer. Essentially. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like going back 75 years ago from where we are now, it's not our job really. It's just that like I think Americans, like their job is just like, it's like, because I take it from like the Jewish folk who've put their bodies in like put their bodies in the line to say like, because we've seen the orgs that say not in our name, right? Like American Jewish people saying like, bro, like you don't get to like do that shit, rocking the Star of David and things of that nature. And I'm like, I think we can take it that far. Cause like I don't like the idea of just like the prime minister of the nation state pulling up saying like, let me finish the job. Dog, what job are you exactly doing? I saw how the state of Israel like clapped this one guy from Hamas, and somehow like the job's still not done.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that shit is so sus to me, dog. So like
the entire intention of America's involvement in it was the offense of Hamas. All right, fine, we get it. However,
sure, I guess maybe.
However, we get to a point where y'all looking at all Palestinians as Hamas, and that sounds kind of familiar.
Oh yes, it sounds like that motherfucking Cat Williams spot on Insurgents.
Never mind that. It reminds me of post 9/11.
Oh man.
Remember what that energy was towards Arabs after that point? Because I do.
Yeah,
not a fan.
Mugs were going inexcusable behavior. Behavior.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I was not a fan of that whole Muhammad Hassan Undertaker angle. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So it all feels familiar. America, we don't like we like grouping people into one thing.
It's one bucket.
So we're too lazy to be able to discern the two or anything like that. So yeah, once mugs were doing the whole attention of Hamas, I had an inkling that they weren't going to stop, and it was because they were going to look at all Palestinians as Hamas. So now all of Palestine has to go, and it's like, nah, y'all doing this, y'all doing the same shit again. And it's like, this is why America, like, people outside of America don't look at us positively, because we're supposed to be the example. However, we do it by setting shitty examples. And not only that, we're not even really setting examples. We try so hard to police the world. And it's like, bro,
it's not our freaking job.
It's not our job. Our job is to protect our home front, which y'all are not even interested in doing for real. Y'all are so that's what pisses me off about this country right now. The fact that y'all are so gung-ho about helping other foreign nations when there's some shit going on in this country that need to be fixed, and y'all are completely disinterested in fixing anything.
Don't want to fix no roads, don't want to fix no train tracks, don't want to prevent no flooding, don't want to end no homelessness, don't want to feed no kids, don't want to teach the kids. Like, I got a list as long as my goddamn arm, bruv.
Yeah, governors skipping town during a winter storm.
Ted Cruz, you're a coward.
Yeah,
Ted Cruz, you are a coward, my boy.
Yeah,
hey, Ted Cruz. I told my youngin about this. How Ted Cruz, you let Donald Trump insult your wife to your face, and you didn't swing. You are a coward.
You have a little girl that was essentially born and raised on more or less unclean water, or having to know what a purifier was for her entire life. Y'all don't fucking get it, man. Like, there's so much shit going on in this country that's a problem that need to be cleaned the fuck up, and y'all so busy putting so much money in the military and taking money away from education just so y'all can be ready. Come on, man.
Look at here.
What are we doing?
We've been cranking for almost an hour. I want to end on one like bit of good news, and we'll carry on to some grappling talk. Because I'll connect it. I'll connect it in such a way. So one Palestinian journalist, her name is Bassan. She's been alive since she's been staying alive since her country's been bombed to nothingness, and she's been recording everything. And she and she was like and so she made a bit of a documentary, and so
keep cooking. It's just that time for me.
I know, bro. I know. Trust me. So this documentary that Bassan made, it got nominated for an Emmy, and a bunch of organizations and rich people try to petition the Academy saying, don't let Bassan be nominated for this Emmy. And I'm like, bro, that's really, really fucked up for y'all to do. And funnily enough, not funnily, but sadly, one of those dudes who signed that petition is the president of the company who's producing the second season of the live action One Piece. And anyone who knows anything about that show knows how much Liberation is at the core of the plot and its characters. Now they mentioned season 2 is when they go to the Sand Kingdom. So it's buddy, you're sus. I see you. You will not be forgotten. Your sins will not be forgotten.
Brother,
whole time though,
they would never run out of content for that show.
Say what now?
They will never run out of content for that show, live action wise. I mean,
bro, I don't want to sidetrack into it because I have so many thoughts. I have so many real world parallels to bring about that show that I'll tell you off camera. But
I don't watch it, but I know better. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those type of things. I just heard about it from friends in Knez.
yeah. Shout out to Knez, bro. No, but Bassan won the Emmy. But I'm so happy that in spite of all like these like powerful people saying like she shouldn't even be like eligible to be nominated. She won the fucking Emmy. And like, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really mean much. But the fact of the matter is, you have an eyewitness account from a person who's been through all of it and is still like telling the stories of like friends, neighbors, family, and just like folks who are just like persevering in like the ultimate like the eye of Sauron, more or less, in the sense that like they took your neighborhoods, they took your schools, they took your family, but like still you persist, and like now we can see it with our own eyes, and like we have to make peace with that. So like, Basan, thank you for what you've done for yourself, for your family, for your country, and like stay alive, please. And
on the subject of like,
and I mentioned it, and I mentioned it because like knowing that she won had me skanking like Sami Zayn.
Hey man, relax. But no, before we make that quick transition, Chapel Roan.
Shout out the good sis Chapel Roan.
We owe her, I mean, if anything, a fair enough.
Nah, fuck all that. She gets Chapel Roan. I'm sorry. No, I was with you from jump. But like since these dickheads, because my gay community had put me on a Chapel Roan long before like there was a radio push for Hot to Go. So like, but on some like standing on your principles, I commend you for that. And for those dickheads who won't apologize, I'll apologize for them. You know what I'm saying? Because like you would do, like she did what any motherfucker our age from our age group did do. It's like you're not gonna get me caught up because that happens to be the of course you're supposed to like you're not gonna get my cosign just off the strength of you like being on Team Blue. What do you stand for? Because like if a mug like is playing to win, it'll show. I'm not gonna like go your way just because I'm gonna like get like pushed back if I don't. Because believe you me, if I didn't vote green, I'd be putting uncommitted in like capital letters in that specific spot. Like it wasn't because like I take voting seriously, even though I don't really do much of anything else. Like I am concerned with like who is the attorney general. I am concerned with like who becomes the sheriff. Shit, if I had things my way, there'd be no sheriff. You get me?
Brother.
Like again, like that abolition shit, I do take seriously. Like with that whole situation when that man got executed by the state when everything was saying he did not commit this crime. Mugs, like so, I forgot who said it, but like they executed that poor man because they were not ready to pay the millions of dollars they would owe him for having him in the slammer on charges he did not commit.
Brother, I'll put it to you like this. My best friend, or one of my best friends, he is a vet.
Oh, I know where this is going.
And he don't vote. Why? And we had this discussion before the election. And why? Because his response was, this doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because these politicians are only, as John Boy said, they're only working for themselves. They're not working for us. So it's like whatever happens, you know, I'm still a black man in America regardless. So I just pretty much got to grind out my life the way I was grinding out my life during the last presidential election and the one before that. It's like life is going to go on. Like shit fucked up, but when hasn't shit been fucked up? That's a fair point, man.
I said it on the last stream with Aelor because during when we closed our last conversation, I left a link to like learn how to like if you like it was like a 401 link on how to vote. It's like if you want to, here's like your methods, here are your means if you want to. Because I think we need to get back to a point where when we're choosing to vote, it's not only like because you're voting for yourself, but like you're also voting for everyone else around you. Because like you have the belief that like, oh, like protecting people in addition to myself is significant. And like if it's been beaten out of you by America, again, I'm not gonna hold that against you. Because like if like this one author I follow, Deshaun, shout out to them. They said if we're voting whether we do or do not become slaves, then like we need to like strip that apart. There's something more. If California can vote on whether like they can use slave labor from the prison system to like make American products, I'll put it to you this way: that same when people were like petitioning and like calling and emailing to get that man out of jail, one mug is like, bro, just drive the car into the wall and get that motherfucker out. Like, you know, you'll see at protests when like the police come out with the batons and like the tear gas and they start grabbing people up. If enough people grab a person they're trying to arrest, they will let go. These mugs, yes, here. Like we saw like in all like those campus protests and such. Where mugs are just like they weren't doing nothing. They weren't going to class. They were just occupying like common ground space. Because like they were basically doing the shit that folks were doing in Vietnam. They're like, bro, we shouldn't be over there. Like, and once we got over there, we got our asses kicked. Like mugs getting PTSD and Purple Hearts over what exactly? Why were mugs even there? I don't like it. It took me so long to realize that, like, bro, we only have a North Korea because America got nosy. They split the motherfucking country in half. They got guns pointed at each other all times of the day because of our bullshit.
I said during my thread, America has a offense that they claim is high powered, but hasn't really been put to the test like that. And last time it was put to the test like that,
they got snuck under our noses and people died.
America got packed up by home field advantage and booby traps. That's all that was needed for America to get packed up.
Mugs got rolled up.
And that's all I'm saying. Like, we got all this like military stuff, and the simplest shit is the last thing that whooped our asses. But everything else after that has been hearsay on weapons of mass destruction.
Rumors, nigga.
Us being nosy with other nations. And everything before that was literally a scrimmage, a inter-country scrimmage. And the one before that is the claim to fame. And that's the one that became, that made us a country. And we've been riding on that forever at this point. Like, America hasn't 100% been to the test. I, at this point, completely trust that that we'll pass that test of flying colors the next time we're, you know, put to that test. But the thing is that we should be more focused on defense, not offense. Because fucking around with offense, that's how we got sent back limping from Vietnam. At what point do you learn the lesson? Or are we too arrogant as a nation to do so? Because if so, that may fuck around and be our downfall. We need to fucking smarten up as a nation.
Shit, man. I follow a person from Vietnam who's like a true, like a legit, like, I'm a communist. Would you like to, like, let me tell you what I've learned? And I'm like, by all means, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the fuck do I know about communism? The fuck do I know about socialism? The fuck do I know about anarchy? Like, I was like, during this whole race, I was like, what we really, like, my whole, like, my crackpot theory was, in general, like, oh, there are 50 states in America. Give me 5 presidents. Give me like, because I'm thinking, if I'm like the president of 10 states, look how much less work I have to do. Like, maybe with all like, all like the bullshit stripped away, I can really be like, oh, New Hampshire needs what fixed? Let me get on the phone. What are we doing, dude? Like, we're running out of time. Like, not to be like end of the world ass motherfucker, but like, my friends and family have kids, bro.
Yeah.
They need clean air and clean water, bro. They need, when they go to school, I want them to have like, I want the kids like the team, like Generation Alpha. I want school lunch not to be bullshit.
Look, man, I from the most trivial to the biggest issues, I want everybody in America that doesn't look like a middle-aged white man to be treated in the same grace and respect as a middle-aged white man. That's my start right there.
Do you know how many cats?
And they're going to look at us and go, never.
Bro, do you know how many just like folks who like, especially at my job, a lot of people like English is their second language, and these are mugs who do not know me, not even on some coworker shit, just like strangers who do not know me. They come to me smiling, they greet you so warmly,
yeah,
and it's like I refuse to let these people like come away from me and my job with like a, oh, I'm not come back in here again. They treat me like shit. Like, I'm like, because like, we've been having such a hard time these last 4 years. And like, I only do what I do professionally because it's like, I'm so starved for human to human interaction. So when like a person is just like genuinely nice to me, I don't even know what to do with myself. So like, knowing mugs can like knowing people in positions of power can be so cruel and thoughtless. Oh, like I'm gonna crash out, and I don't use that term lightly.
mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna fuck around and throw my life away because you motherfuckers don't understand, bro.
Because at what point, what's worth it at that point? You might as well throw it away. Like there's nothing that's what's blowing the shit out of me about all this is that everything that they're doing is designed for only the regular white man to not even progress in America, to just be the face of society in this country. And it's like, y'all been the face of society for so long, and look where that got us. Like, why can't we try something different for fucking once? It's just something different to see what happens.
Imagine like because I started, like, it's funny you mentioned anime earlier. We mentioned anime earlier. In the show Vinland Saga, you meet the one character, Leif Erikson, comes to like Turtle Island, otherwise known as America, sees the natives, and they're like, yo. And the natives is like, do you want to know how we get down over here? They're like, yo, for sure. And like they leave. Like they don't stay. They just like, oh, you guys are pretty tight. Good luck and everything. We're gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Imagine what like the United States of America would be like if we just listened to the native peoples and just did shit their way, or like it didn't just try to like obliterate them like from the face of the earth. Because I have often said
better than them.
Bro, I've often said that like cause the struggle of like the black person is like number one on a lot of our like our priorities. But I'm like, bro, think about it this way. We could have been born native. How much worse they've got it. Because we gave because the blood, sweat, and tears of black people like gave America its sauce. But like before we even got stolen away to come here, like this was all like native territory, and now like almost all of them are gone. Like mugs could because some families like in like Hispanic and like Latino communities like, oh, we didn't teach y'all Spanish because we didn't want y'all to get like fucked up by the white folk. How much worse did like the native people have it? Like entire like languages and like culture like evaporated, buried under like these town halls and like embassies and shit. Like it's like, like the Harris campaign was like, we're not going back. I feel like in some ways we gotta look like, I'm telling y'all right now, like with the Trump folk like coming in this January, go to your fucking libraries, start grabbing up these books, start downloading PDFs, go buy your terabytes. Again, we got to come the fuck off these platforms. Google, YouTube, shit, like they made like we've had ample opportunity to do what we've been doing, and soon it may be gone. So we need to pay a little bit more attention.
At this point, they're only going to listen to whatever they tell them, and they're not going.
Now you're under control.
They're no longer under belief of any historical books that have been stories that have been told over the years forever. That is historical fact, and not only that, America has already sugarcoated these stories because everybody outside of America, they know the real stories, and so we have to learn. We literally have to learn the truth from motherfuckers out in different countries, and then we still deny because that doesn't sound like us. And it's like, nah, you're not getting it. We've always been like this. But I don't know, man.
There you go. Like there's still like one of like I believe the two remaining like ancestors from like the Tulsa massacre. One just had her birthday. She's like in the hundreds. She has beautiful blue eyes.
Go figure. Let's talk about some raps real quick.
Let's talk about some motherfucking raps. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Like, what I want to say first. Speaking of fucking America, this women's U.S. title, about because like I saw like the promo by Nick Aldis, and I'm thinking, are they gonna do another May Classic? That's what I thought this was gonna be. Another like all women's PLE or tourney or something. Because I'm thinking you could have done both, or like you did like the May Classic, but then like the winner gets that belt or something.
Theoretically speaking,
I'll take this for now anyway. Next year they should definitely do all women's PLE because I heard that like at Crown Jewel, no one was making any noise for that incredible like tag match, and I'm like, nah, I don't appreciate that one bit.
That shit bang. So here's my thing.
Bruh.
Like, I've always had like a not a theory of sorts, but like something. It was something I would do in my WWE universe mode, right? Where
2K.
I would do. I of course have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, right? However, for the like the off show, like the little like non-main roster show.
You mean 2.0?
Your WWE superstars, your NXT level ups, your
that's what I'm thinking of.
Superstars of that generation. Yeah. So the non-main roster shows or whatever, like I would do an all women show. And so
yes.
And so a lot of the like, rivalries on the main roster that I can't 100% get to because it's such a male dominated roster, I'll have them either continue out or settle it on the, C show or whatever. And if I continued it on the C show, I would be able to finish it during the pay-per-view because more than likely I did like, some type of rivalry ender before the go home show, before the pay-per-view. Like I had a whole strategy of booking and everything like that. And it felt like it worked. With that being said,
Trips giving man a job. Damn.
With that being said, I honestly think they should do a tournament style thing where if the US title is on Raw. No, it's Intercontinental, is it?
Well, what women's titles are on Raw?
Liv Morgan is the women's heavyweight champion.
Hey, quick aside, who's taking the title off Liv?
That's gonna be fun to watch, right?
Because I'm like,
it's like,
how long do you keep this going?
Let's find out. Because it's not getting stale for the simple fact that she's making so many enemies right now.
Okay, they're still warming that up.
and when she's still food to Rhea Ripley. It's just that Rhea Ripley got to like come back from injury, but
Okay, got it.
nonetheless, she's still picking on other motherfuckers, and it's like she not so small, she not so big her damn self, and not only that, she's just starting to come into her own as
in the ring.
In the ring. And I'm not saying that like as far as ring skills go, because she's had it for a while. This is why we wanted her push. I'm saying that like she's starting to gain that confidence as a heel in her psychology in the ring. So like she's just starting to like catch that stride. So now it's starting to become a matter of how do they build that psychology, and when in terms of, does she become some sort of unstoppable, or does she like become a like, you know, everyone is now a threat to her every encounter she comes into. And that's what I'm gonna enjoy about that.
I just had a thought, because as far as I'm concerned, as far as like the title shot for me, I wanted to be Mia Yim and Naomi, because Michin has never held a title since she got signed, and I'm like, that kind of that.
Michin winning, like I said on Facebook, Michin winning United States Women's Championship will fulfill my prophecy from Universe Mode from 8 years ago. Because I've had this. I've always wanted women's mid-card championships on both shows, because they had an Intercontinental and a United States champion on Raw and SmackDown respectively. And so I always figured, why don't they do that with the women's division as well? That way the women's mid-card got, you know, titles they could chase as well. That way you're not wasting these women, and you got, you know, something going on for every segment of every show that you put on if you do the shit right.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna say, because I was thinking, because like while we're talking about you first. I'm sorry. You first.
So I've always said that, like, I've always wanted Michin to be United States champion, and oddly enough, Miss LeRae, women's Intercontinental. But I mean, Speed Champion's good enough. So
I guess.
I suppose so.
No,
especially if they're not going to do a women's Intercontinental Championship for a little while after this, because this is like coming off the heels of coming out with the women's North American Championship on NXT like a few months back, or like
that's
6 months back.
Women's US. I'm sorry, women's NXT. Who? No, I'm sorry. Perez is women's NXT. Who's women's US? I'm sorry, women's North America. Who's women's North America?
Fallon Henley.
It is?
Yeah, because they
who'd she beat?
They put Kalani Jordan in a gauntlet.
Kalani Jordan, that's who I was thinking of.
They put Kalani Jordan in a gauntlet match, so it was like
no wonder she lost it then. That's tough.
Yeah, JC Jane, Fallon Henley, Jasmine Nix. I could have sworn it was one more person, but I think that's all.
There's so many folks on NXT now.
Bro, the NXT women's division is the best women's division in wrestling, and that is the developmental brand. Shawn Michaels got eyes for talent.
Yeah, that's Chef Michaels for sure. That's Chef Michaels, because don't play with him.
And that's why he's Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just a chefing boy.
I tell mugs every time. Shawn Michaels is Jordan, dog. First and foremost, he had a legendary first half of his career. Then he put on a second half of his career that may have been more legendary than his first. Some people
That's what I would say.
that. Some people constantly argue that. And then not only that, he is crushing it, running the developmental brand right now. So well that him and Trips are developing a pipeline that is seamless, to where anybody that comes into the NXT that comes from NXT to the main roster, they're getting a seamless push that they were getting from NXT onto the main roster to start them off.
That's what I was going to mention. I was going to bring up, because I'm thinking, because I'm wondering who's going to take the belt off Morgan. Who knows? Here we have women's United States champion belt.
Anyone.
No, but like here we have. We got wait.
Me
First.
Want to do
Me
it
first. Me first. So women's US belt. I'm hoping either Naomi or Misha wins. In comes out Stratton with the briefcase. Because we gotta put a belt on Shorty. We
do. And honestly,
because I know she got bangers.
Honestly, Liv too hot to take it off of her.
Yeah, we're still building that up.
And then my baby, she's supposed to be built to be the unstoppable force.
Oh yeah, Nia Jax, Queen Jax.
So she won Queen of the Ring for a reason, and it would be remiss to cut her title reign so short. All right. With that being said, with the Money in the Bank briefcase, you can cash in on any championship title.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes the best sense.
Who's that? That recent signing, Zarya. Put her against Jax. She has just like the pedigree to take Jax in a match, bro.
Buddy,
they're gonna be slugging.
A lot of those women on NXT are going to be a lot of the main roster's main counterparts within the next year or two. That's 100%. How well they're cranking out talent in that on that brand. You gotta look at it like this, right? Mello Hayes. He was on NXT, he was one of the first people on NXT 2.0 when they cranked out the 2.0 brand change for a bit, right? It was him, Braun Breaker, so on and so forth. His man's Trick Williams was pretty much
Trick is having a run.
Exactly. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to that in a moment. He was basically Mello's split star to Mello's Busta Rhymes, right?
Yeah.
And then in a matter of 6 to 8 months, they not only built Mello into one of the forefronts of that brand,
yes,
but they managed to plant a seed and organically build a rivalry between Mello and Trick that accumulated and Mello leaving NXT and Trick then becoming the man. And Trick has been the man ever since on NXT. So 100%. When he makes that step up to the main roster, he won't be the man on the main roster his first few weeks because Sean has done such an excellent job in building up every superstar that is, I say superstar, every wrestler that is on that roster, and to the point where, again, when Triple H gets to him, he know what to do with them. So, man, that's what NXT had been missing for a long time. Somebody that on the main roster would understand how to utilize their gimmick in the main roster setting.
Yeah, because at first when they put Hayes to the main roster, I'm always been shaky on Hayes, but thank God they put him against El Idolo because Andrade is gonna take him to the limit because Andrade is so cold. So cold, bro. So I'm glad you have an opponent who's gonna push you, who's gonna really mess you up. And I'm hoping that that three-way that's being advertised between him and Knight, is gonna bang.
I was about to say, because listen, that whole best of 7 series turning into a hilarious punchline for a riddle. Andrade Cien Almas and Carmelo Hayes do a best of 7 series of matches. Who wins it? LA Knight. Yeah.
And that is just a fact of life.
I love that. I love that. So now LA Knight he's officially inserted in that rivalry, and it's a 3-way rivalry. We don't do that often. And that's another thing. This is such a fresh production these days that they're trying new ideas that they should have done a long time ago, and it shows because it's working immediately.
Yeah, like the folks are latching on to it.
Yeah, like that's what the game needed. So I go back to the women's tournament idea, and I say that how they should book that women's United States Championship. It should be a whole like tournament of sorts that happens for the next few weeks until the next pay-per-view, which culminates in a finals match. It's Meechin versus Chelsea Green. Meechin wins it.
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. Yeah, Chelsea Green. Meechin wins that match, and then Tiffany Stratton cashes in successfully. And that's how they should do it. However, they'll probably
set the tone.
do it. However, how they'll probably do it is they'll do it like Battle Royal or some shit one week, and then the next week it's a finals match. And then
It's gonna be a tie somehow.
I don't know. Like I've been trained to see such fuckery over the years when it comes to WWE that like
Someone getting schmozzed for sure.
I can predict like the worst that could possibly happen, and often these days they've been proving me wrong and been like low key surprising me. So it's like I have faith in those two. I have faith in DX to officially run this company as far as the shows go to a T. Because listen, Ava is hanging up the boots. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but
I never saw her in the ring. So,
but that's the rumor. Like she's like, you know what? I like this better, and honestly, it works.
The mayor of NXT.
Honestly, she kind of like stuck out like a sore thumb in the ring, for the simple fact that it looked like she was learning everything, but it wasn't like 100% translating for a character.
Not kind of like with Maxine Dupree, where like took to her like a fish to water.
Stratus gene. That young lady has the Stratus gene. And by the Stratus gene, I mean she started out green as goose shit, having little to no idea how to wrestle, and in a small period of time has become an exceptional wrestler, like a bringing down the house type of wrestler.
So over with the fans, legendary
over like
up.
Rover, and then not only that, like her moveset is like the perfect moveset for her, because she does she executed a lot of her moves seamlessly. Like she really gets it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Ava, I don't think like really 100% got it in the ring. She completely gets it in
a backstage role.
In a backstage role. Completely gets it, because she is absolutely crushing that role as GM. Crushing it. Like,
let's go.
She like there's a whole situation right now with Eddie Thorpe that she's like low-key undermining, or they haven't 100% checked back on that. However, when he came up to her and she was like, I'm kind of busy right now, he like, all right, man, that's the second time. She like, I know, but I got you. Just give me a little bit. It's a really important matter that needs to be done soon, immediately. I'm not saying that yours isn't, but for the show, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how she expressed it, and she managed to get all of that expression in a matter of like lesser words. Like, I know, but this I really got to handle this right now. And then left them like that, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she's able to be emote, I guess you could say, everything that she means to say and say less than she's actually conveying. And it's excellent work. And it's not to say that she's not long-winded or anything like that, because there are times where she can go on a small monologue of sorts, but she's absolutely killing it in that role. That's the perfect place for her.
Yo, I want to wrap up so we can actually like talk about some ribbity raps. One thing I want to say, I subscribe to or what?
I said while we're on the subject of the girlies.
Yeah, facts. I subscribed to Last Legends YouTube channel where she be chefing up them delicacies, and she had the NXT champ and the GM of the brand, and Lash is like, "Yo, how come we haven't had no match?" And Perez like, "Shit, the GM right here, ask her." And I'm like,
"Oh my,
Ava, bruv, lock it in. We need it. The streets need it."
What Ava said?
The belt on Lash Legend. Oh, she deflected. She deflected. She's a proper politician. She deflected.
Nice. At this point, that's done. Her metaphor moved up.
Oh yeah, they're on the main. So like,
yeah. And you want to hear the crazy part about it is,
Quay.
Aura and Noam didn't do shit for real. This entire group is moving up on the roster,
carrying the brand.
Exactly, on the backs of Lash and Jakar. Now, I'm not saying that they're dead weight. I'm not saying that. Because
certainly not.
Noam Dar, he's starting to become a bit of a fun character as far as his gimmick goes. And then Oro Mensah, he poured his heart out one episode of NXT. Now, I literally missed that entire monologue, but I heard about it and I was like, oh, goddamn, dude. At that point, I was like, all right, I'm in on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like them two managed to win fans over in their own right. However, those matches Jakara and Lash put on with two of the big three, and then those
you gotta ask somebody.
The matches they put on with the rest of the girlies on the main roster tag team divisions, undeniable. Yeah, move them up. And again, Lash Legend, she only been around for about a year and a half. No, she was a 2.0 or 2. Yep. And Jakara, she has had a small history of injuries. So she had been, in and out. But anytime she's in, man, she all in. So yeah, move them up immediately. And that's what's been going on lately. That's how you've been seeing these new faces on Raw and SmackDown, because they testing them out on live events at first. They're seeing what the crowd reaction is on the live events. And then they, bait them out for a match or two on the main roster, see what the crowd reaction is like live on the main roster. And if that shit is bumping and jumping, all right, yeah, let's give them a shout out on the main roster. It's working. It's working. And not only that, Sean keep cranking out talent. And then not only that, they are bringing in more talent from
all over the motherfucking universe.
Not only now, they're doing indie development. Yeah. They also got these NIL kids coming in. And that's where Kalani is from. That's what Kalani is. She's an NIL kid. Obafemi, he's an NIL
kid. The ruler.
Like these athletes coming in that played previous sports. That's been a tried and true. You know what I'm saying? But also when they have that passion for the sport, it really works. Like Oro Mensah, this motherfucker got it from the get-go. From the get-go. His first promo, everybody was hooked on this man. Immediately. And then once everybody realized Kalani Jordan was an RVD disciple, everybody was in. Because my thing was, I'm like,
all right, I watched the first match. I was like, oh yeah, she got something. I don't know what, but she got something. It's something. I can't put my finger on it, but it's something. She got something. And then it hit me. Oh, you're one of a kind too. Okay, I'm a fan now. Just off
damn show.
Cause you're going. If you don't get it right now, I know for sure you're going to get it. And when you do get it, you are going to be a cheat code, man. An absolute cheat code. And then Oba, he already a cheat code at this point. This motherfucker he is going to be a WWE champion within the next few years. I promise you that.
Everybody getting beat up by the ruler. Oh God.
I promise you that. Like I can't stress that enough. That he probably should take Cody Rhodes' championship from him next WrestleMania. Why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker cooking, and his matches be cooking. He cooking on that mic. Like Obafemi might be like the next generational talent that they got. And I guess you could say the last one being Bianca Belair.
Oh yeah, the GOAT.
So man,
and that makes me so happy about Lash Legend and Jahara coming to the main roster, because I've been so shaky on Jade Cargill, but I'm like, wait, now she has a proper rival, a proper opponent that's gonna bring out the best in her when she comes to the ring. That's all that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Also, put my good sis Shayna Baszler into that tourney for the US belt. Because seeing her in Bloodsport, I'm like, bro, this is a brawler. This is a real fighter in this mug.
We got to get the Bays involved in it, dog. Cause
get the Queen of Spades in this bitch.
Look, man, I know.
She put women to sleep.
I know you can give her flack for losing to Lola Vice in that match. I get it. I completely get it.
The past is the past.
Not even the past is the past. However, Shayna Baszler being in that U.S. Championship tournament, she's a dark horse automatically. Why? Because even with that loss against Lola Vice, who is also a UFC fighter in her own right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why that loss made a little more sense. Because it's
they speak the same language. They speak the same language.
Exactly. They speak the same language. Lola Vice just spoke it a little more fluently that night somehow.
Yeah.
I get it.
Maybe she's putting her over. Yeah.
That makes sense. Shayna Baszler against, anybody.
Shout out Seattle. Thanks for dropping in.
That isn't a cage fighter, or was it formerly a cage fighter?
Who?
EIF for Shayna. Everybody's food.
Oh yeah.
That's why Shayna would immediately be the dark horse if they announced her as one of the contestants in the tournament for the United States Championship.
She putting women to sleep because
nighty night.
Respectfully.
Napper snap.
Hey, cuz I gotta tell you, one of my favorite YouTubers, Super Eye Patch Wolf, he does MMA, and he lives across the pond. And before, because he moved recently, but at his last dojo, they had people of all ages coming to learn the craft. And man's getting set up, and a 10-year-old girl puts him in a submission hold, just clutches my dog up, and he's like, "Who let this child grip me up by the neck?" And he had a tap because he was about to pass out. Oh, and the goon's like, "Hey, bro, you got to tap that child, bro. A 10-year-old put you on your back, cuz." He's like, without warning, and the fans lit his ass up.
Hey, no, I'm about to say she took her down. She took him down, but he probably got up and was like, "Hey, get this kid off me!"
Nah, but when he moved to the next dojo, because he and his wife moved to a new place. He goes to train, and this shorty walks up on him, and she's like, "Are you a Super Eye Patch Wolf?" He's like, "Yeah."
Well, I gotta move again.
He's like, I used to be a fan of you. I used to watch your videos. He's like, fuck. Because he still makes stuff, but she don't watch no more. He's like, you want to have a match? And she packs him up. Cooked my boy.
Your man's had to move again, though.
That's
Now he boxes. He's doing boxing now. He's like, I can't do this elbow. I can't.
Till you get knocked the fuck out. Like at that point, it's like, man, you might as well become a pacifist.
No, man, he says that he likes it a lot though. He's like, it's different, and that's what I need. I'm like, respect. And as long as he doesn't fuck around and become a rapper, because rapping is official. Hip hop rapping is officially like a woman's sport.
Mm-hmm.
The women are like who have always been here since the culture was born. We had like women MCs really just like elevating the culture. This is like this last year and like next year, it's like the women have this. This is their time. Guys, take notes, because like for too long y'all been like doing bullshit. Like I'm not even like, listen, you see the roster. All 4 songs are in the description below.
Mm-hmm.
And what's called Los got his notes.
Mm-hmm.
Had I not named the episode Haystack Hates Hiatuses, I would have been named it to Haystacks Here's Some More Hip Hop. Haystack Here's the women's, the womendom, the sisters. The
Haystack loves the girlies. That's what it is.
Ladies
Haystack
got something to say, cuz. We have Tonight by Tierra Whack. We have Back in My Bag by Rhapsody. We have Babysitter by Baby Tate and Nissan Ultima by Doechii. Shout out Florida one time. Doechii got 3 Grammy nominations. She's walking away with at least 2 because one of the Johns.
Doug, time out.
Hey, the H from Sisters Women. Shout out Aster in this.
Time out.
Huh? What's that?
I'm not ready for the last 2.
What do you mean you're not ready for the last 2?
You gave me 2 different ones.
I did not.
You gave me Ranchero by Mauna Lea.
I did.
And then Freaky T by Tia Corinne.
Shit, I did.
However, I did have Tonight and Back in My Bag.
You know what? Fine. Because like, you know what happened? We didn't talk for so long, and I'm thinking I'm gonna try and change up the last few because they already got millions of hits, and they weren't necessarily from this year, which is why I'm like, I'll put something else there in the meantime. But like, I'm glad you remember because I fucking forgot, which are also great records. So I'm gonna re-edit the list while you talk about. Let's start with those 2 because I'm especially happy about the Freaky T record because I know about Tia Corinne, I guess, in passing, but like I had to watch her episode of The Cave with Kenny Beast, like get to know her personality. She's funny as shit, and I appreciate this. I appreciate a rapper who's just gonna like, because you hear a rapper like talk off the mic, and like, oh, that's how they talk, like, because we didn't know how Iggy Azalea was Australian until like we saw her or like heard her interviews and such. At least with Tia Corinne, like we have like several personalities of hers in this one song. And like she recently played a gig with like 3 6 Mafia, and she's like, this is like the basis of like my creative spirit. And like when I hear Freaky T, I'm like, oh, 100%. Like this girl definitely grew up listening to Gangsta Boo and shit like that. And like, yeah, it's so good. It's just cool to hear honorable C note on a new school beat, because I definitely just like go walk around saying, I need chips. I told that nigga, yeah, like around the whole, everywhere that I go.
Listen,
here we go.
Let me get the notes out. So what are we doing? Freaky T first, right? All right.
Freaky T.
My first note was, okay, Mighty Mallard, I'm inclined to believe that within the theme of this episode, you knew what you were doing.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever do you mean?
Sure you don't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My next note. Oh shit, we found the pocket early. Yeah, man. She found the pocket to that beat early.
Off the leash.
And from then on, there was no turning back. She was killing it. I said, I love that Tennessean flow. Project Pat, 3-6 Mafia, hell,
Project
ASAP Rocky, the most
Pato.
recent to use it. It works perfectly on his beat, which also sounds Tennessean. And where is she from? And then I
Where's
Google
Tia
it.
Corinne from? Good
I
question.
go, oh, a state over from Tennessee. Okay, now it's making sense.
Yeah.
Might gotta swing my shirt around my head like a helicopter for this one.
Again, shout out. I got
There's your hint.
Girls Kakalaki in this hole, bro.
There's your hint. So overall, 9 out of 10. This joint is hard. Is it gimmicky?
Let's fucking go, dude.
Is it gimmicky? A bit.
Sure.
But it's a bit charming to her whole get down, which is Halle Berry and Babs, which is it a lyrical right? Is it a lyrical clinic? No. But oftentimes a certain BPM in a flow that spacewalks or vogues, swings on that BPM.
Wang.
She does exactly just that. And what do you know? God damn it, it worked again. I tell you what, you give me an album full of beats that allow you to get into a pocket that flows like an additional instrument to the instrumental, I'll listen to it. And it's been done before. Have you not heard an UGK album?
Sweet Jones.
Huh?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Those are my notes for Freaky T. I like that song. Played it a couple of times.
It's a joint.
Sometimes. Yeah, it's a bit of a bop. It's a bopsy.
Yeah, play that your next get back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to. I kind of get it.
One time, bro.
So we work.
Go down. Give me your take on Mana Leo.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to put the joint where like she interpolated beating down your block, because like I love what she did with it, but that's like the first joint Muggs heard from her work, and I didn't want to I guess like saturate the market,
No, I hear you. However, let's keep in mind that we're working our way backwards on these notes. But I said, hey man, let me stay on theme with the music video. Mana Leo, Respectfully, of course. I said, she spit, but she's one of those rappers that rush lines and it sounds offbeat. Not a lot of rappers can make that work.
A lot of people do that nowadays. Like that's the off, like the half step off the John.
Yeah, the Boss Man D-Los, I like to call it. That's a Detroit sound. That shit is. But yeah, ... She does not. I said this beat's kind of cool. Nothing unusual to what the kids are doing these days. Overall, 7 out of 10. And otherwise,
I'll take a 7.
And otherwise, mad trap, but she was also getting her shit off. That's undeniable. I'm going to be randomly yelping, lick the Pearl Ranchero a bit off the next week, probably. And did.
Holding court, you get me?
I really did. I was like the Pearl Ranchero. I was going crazy. But
go ahead then.
However, what do we want to do next?
Let's do because I knew we'd be yapping quite a bit about wrestling and world the world stage. Give me Rhapsody.
All right, so
shout out Night Wonder and them.
So back in my bag, I said in all caps, this is that real shit and I haven't even pressed play yet. I was hyped for this one.
That's what you call motherfucking boss, nigga.
I go, use the about it. So I said, use the modern flow and still actually saying some dope shit with structure. Then my next note, the beat switch. The beat switch.
That's how you switch a beat, folk.
I said overall 10 out of 10. Heat. Fucking that's that real shit. This shit still means something to me.
That's what she's the goat. That's what she's the MVP.
Yes. That was the one of the ones. Yeah. So let's go ahead and round this on home with Tierra Whack and Tonight.
This is my personal favorite. Shout out Philadelphia one time. The best women rapper in Philadelphia is Tierra Whack. You can take that to the fucking bank.
All right, so
you gotta get a little serious on this one.
I hear a lot about her, so let's see how I dig her.
right? That's how we started here. I was very curious. I go, I like the lyrics of the song. Not a fan of how it's sung. Sounds trippy reddish.
I'll say, okay, because it's funny because I'm pretty sure both those rappers, because I know for a fact that Tierra was on like the XXL freshman list. I don't know if Trippie Redd ever got to that point, but he's just been around for so long, and kind of like he is also one of those
freshman.
Was he a freshman? What year was he a freshman?
I forget what year, but he was definitely
I'm finding out because that's gonna bug me if I don't know.
That was the first time I ever heard of Trippie Redd, and then Climate asked, "Who the fuck is Trippie Redd?"
Yeah, that's like he's not like an album that I can like directly point to.
He doesn't even have a song I can directly point to. So
I have at least because if I'm okay, 2018 was that the year Tierra was on the list? No, because
or she was probably a year after.
I think the year after, because the only like lady on that list in 2018 was Stefflon Don.
Whatever to her.
Stefflon Don. Well, she's more of like a dancehall artist.
Oh, okay. See,
you know
I ask questions like that whenever I see the freshman XL list, or whenever I look back at old double XL lists, and I go, "Huh, whatever happened to them?"
Like, you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
I think it had to either be 2023 or 2022. I'm gonna say 23. Where the only people that I recognized on the freshman list, save for one guy from like the UK, were all women. They're the only people that I recognized that I knew were making an impact on the scene at that time. And I'm like, I feel like this is a good sign. And considering just all the big songs that came out from women rappers, like late last year and all this year. With Meg, Doechii, Lotto, Glorilla,
that was
Flo
the
Milli.
last year a double XL actually got it right, because these girls not only have been off to like excellent starts and their pushes and momentum, but they're also banding together like the fucking Avengers, and I love that.
Everyone has each other's backs like the way it was supposed to be years ago.
You know what I'm saying? That's dope as shit. So it's like that's what I really like about them. The fact that they're like producing not only a renaissance lyrically, but they're producing a renaissance as far as camaraderie ship goes, and being not only colleagues, but actual people that they get down with and kick it with. So
Friends.
It's like, I mean, friends, co-workers, like business partners, what have you. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that it's friendly and it's working. And there are, certain artists that you didn't want that. And I don't know why. Because the bitterness that she was the only one trying to she was the only one in the spotlight that was being scrutinized. Meanwhile, there were like a good 7 to 8 different female rappers, including Rhapsody, that were trying to get to where the fuck she was. But the reason why she where she was, because she got the label co-sign off of a mixtape that was absolutely exceptional. If you're not a fan, I still encourage you to go back and listen to "Beam Me Up, Scotty."
I remember hearing that. I remember hearing cuts from that mixtape, and it's like this is unlike nothing we've ever seen before. And what makes me so sad is that every new school like lady rapper who was like one who wanted to like extend their hands, they're getting whiffed on, and for what it's worth.
What is worth? I had high hopes for Nicki Minaj, but it's like, yo,
she
got real selfish, and then her fans became her yes men pretty much, because it's like you can't really give an honest opinion about Nicki Minaj without her fans
getting attacked by strangers,
right? Get randomly attacked by a bunch of sassy ass motherfuckers that don't know what hip hop really is. So it's like, don't fucking come and talk to me about hip hop, because my thing is, I listen to the female rappers over the fucking golden years. Y'all don't even know who they are. Y'all don't understand that there's history in this shit, and y'all just assume
that y'all, since she's such an excellent rapper to y'all, or she's the best rapper ever to y'all, that she invented female rap. And it's like, nah, they're your likes of MC Light, your Queen Latifah's. Yes, Queen Latifah used to be a rapper, kids.
Can't wait to see her movie, by the way.
But you wouldn't know anything of that because y'all think history is stupid. And that's why y'all are stupid. So here we are. But nonetheless, like, I had high hopes for Nicki Minaj for the simple fact she actually can fucking rap. And that's what frustrates me about it. Like, Nicki Minaj got fucking bars. But it's like she's feeding the monster that is her audience. And I would love for her to, you know, have develop a better flow than Lil Wayne's Carter 3 era flow that she's still doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but neither here nor there.
I didn't listen to the last release, and I won't listen to the next one, respectfully.
Well, I listened to that Bigfoot song for shits and giggles, and I kind of regretted it.
Embarrassing.
So. Like, I thought it'd be a little funny to listen to that song. Like, maybe she says something, you know, funny, but it's just a bunch of dumb shit. Like, she cracks jokes like a Republican. It's weird.
Anywho, we didn't like that long ass. We didn't even give Tiara her flowers, bro. What was the score on the Haystack scale?
All right. My last note before the overall is "Beat Is Chill" sounds like a selection track from 2011, and if you know me well enough, my bag.
You love that selection.
Shout out to Mr. Carmack. That's what I know about selection. Overall, 6 out of 10. Nothing too much wowed me here, but I guess it wasn't supposed to. But it was just a bit too lackadaisical in structure for me. Lyrical structure and music, and musically as well. It sounds like a lullaby for a nightmare, but not in a bad way, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Here's what I'll say about Tierra Whack, because again, like
I know she's experimental.
Yeah, because I feel that I'm very excited to see like Doechii like be received for like the absolute generational talent that she is. But let's be honest here, hip hop has a bad relationship with women rappers of Carlos's complexion.
You gotta
like a Tierra Whack and a Chica. Yeah, like the fifth element of hip hop is misogynoir, but like even more than that, it's colorism.
Well, I gotta be the fifth element though. Relax.
I'm just fucking saying. Like the crux of the culture is built off the disrespect of black women and black femmes. I wanted to explicitly shout out my favorite local rapper from Baltimore, Miss Chaotic Couture, my former classmate from broadcasting school. Dropped a new project. I'm gonna put it in the comments. Like, I'm excited, because I mentioned I mentioned her in one of my last streams, and like Baltimore as a culture, as a hub of culture, is often like underrated, and because of the work of Miss Chaotic Couture and all of like her friends, like they're putting the city back on the fucking map.
All right, I dig it. I dig it hard. I mean, I guess I can bump it up to 7 out of 10. I don't know. Like,
you don't have to be. No. It's okay. But I'm just like I mentioned like Tierra and Chica because it's like I feel as though if you're not perceived as like an attractive person in hip hop, you aren't allowed to be strange, because like 3 Stacks got away with all that cool stuff, not only because he was a great rapper, because he's really hot. And like if he wasn't, like Muggs would like he'd be like in the Doom category if like he wasn't if women didn't find him so attractive.
Same,
you know what I'm saying?
Boy. So like,
but Big Boy is still like cool in like the regular way. You know what I'm saying? Like
fair. That's completely fair. Yeah, like Big Boy owns pet tigers and shit. So it's like, You don't get you don't get cooler than that.
Like, he's a
to be
bizarre
honest.
character, but like, just like, if you don't know anything about him, like, you wouldn't know that like he loves Kate Bush just by looking at a Big Boy. You make that assumption about Three Stacks, like him roaming around playing his flute in random spots on the planet. It's like, of course he would do things like that.
Big Boy came onto the set of ATL and he said, "Okay, so what do I do?" And T.I. said, "Well, what I want you to do is I want you to be your actual self, just as a villainous role." And Big Boy said, "I think I got you, player."
And henceforth giving like birth to the "is that who I think it is" meme.
And put on an Oscar-worthy performance, which gave us one of the greatest memes of all time. Now I know
is that who I think it is.
Now I know that ain't who I think it is. Yep, one of the best ever.
Hey, like, speaking of films, bro, like that new I know she's not a rapper, not really, but she on TDE. So SZA and Keke Palmer got that movie coming out next year. Like,
that looks
like
like
we haven't had a black comedy.
Friday. That looks.
We haven't had a black comedy on TV in the theaters for so long. I support this fucking movie, y'all. Even if you
Definitely.
even if you don't go to the theater, buy a ticket, give it to a homie. Like, let's get back on our, like, I'm trying to get my boy Los into Aylor's next movie. So like,
I saw the like preview for it and I was like, all right, this looks like the female version of Friday. I like this. Like that looks like it's going to be a fun movie.
I'll see
So
anything
like,
Kiki's in.
I hate the fact that that's the first time I've heard of it, and I last heard of it like a good week or two ago, and fucking around with these companies, that'll probably be the last time I hear about it until it actually comes out, and then they'll do the whole blame game thing of why it didn't do box office numbers.
I'm gonna see it one time.
I promoted you dumbasses. People forgot that it was even coming out. They didn't even know which date it came out. Y'all just said, "Here, it's out," and people couldn't prepare to go see it the opening weekend or nothing like that. It's like, yo, this is why you preview things in theaters, because it shows you what's coming up next, and you like, all right, I might go see that junk. And then when the time comes to go see that junk, you make a decision on whether or not you're going to go see that junk. When you do, you pretty much set out to go see it. Like, you essentially plan a period of time that you're going to go see this movie. Like, these showings are like bus schedules. You understand? So like when you buy tickets for a certain time, you pretty much plan your day out for that movie, like around that movie, because that movie coming out. That movie is going to be playing at 6:45. All right, I got this, that, and the third to do today, so I need to start my day early. By the time I get out of the theater, it's probably going to be like 8:30, 9 o'clock probably. I'm not going to want to do anything afterwards, but just go home because I'm stuffed with popcorn. Like, this is all a like synergy of things, you understand? And y'all fucking up that synergy, not promoting this movie, because now people are got to scramble for it, and then opening weekend, people probably didn't even know it dropped. It's opening weekend. What are we doing here, guys? Sabotaging black women. This is crazy. Yeah.
Yo, we just did 2 hours and 10 minutes. We're back. We back. It's like we never left. I want to get back with you in December, and I know like our next goal as like a duo is like get like the Haystack family to like EP a lot of our content. But before we like hand them like the producer's chair, there's something I need your help with.
Sure.
Something I want to remind you about next year, and something I want you to help me with in December. So, as you may or may not remember, Apple Music put out their top 100 albums of all time list. And so me and Aylor, we unpacked it, and we sliced 20 albums off that list. And we each made our own like top 100 albums of all time list. I made one, he made one, and he picked 10 from his 100 to add back into the Apple list. I'm going to be the last person to add my 10, before I get at least 6 more of my homies to like look at the list and slash 10 of their own. I want to challenge you to make your own Haystack West's 100 best albums of all time list. You'll unpack it in a stream, and you pick 10 of those albums to put back into that list.
Ooh wee! All right. I honestly think I can give you 50. However, once I start thinking of these 50, I think more are going to come to mind.
Then you can definitely pull off the 100.
I think I could pull off 100.
And like, I'll give you like 15 days just to like put a little pressure on you, because like
that's more than enough time.
My November is essentially cooked. I'm not even gonna lie. But like I have other people that I'm thinking of reaching out to like just like, you know what, let's just like take a look at like the Western canon and see if we can just improve, because there are some good choices on like the Apple list, but I'm like, we can do better. Let's get the take of like the actual people in the world, besides just like executives and like even bigger backpackers than myself. You smell me?
Yeah.
So like that is my challenge to you. We will discuss that at a later date. The thing I want to remind you about is that earlier this year, I did my whole like March Madness spinoff with my good friend V from subtlesmile.com. And it was a bit of a disaster. And I'm thinking, okay, let's make it into like a big tourney of sorts with you, myself, Aelor, V, and V's brother. And just like I had like I had a lot of ideas cooking about it, but now that I want to make it a little more simple. So I think that next year's theme will be like 2015, like just songs from 2015. What was the best song from 2015? And like our audience, like our collective audiences will like vote and stuff, and it'll be like an entire month-long affair. And if you win, I'll dictate a really cool prize for you if you win.
How wide
more on
the
that
range of songs? Like, you know, like
everything in that year is what I'm probably going to choose.
Any and everything in that year.
Everything that came out in 2015. That's what I think I'm going to do. I had a bigger and better idea months ago. I forget what it is. So like, yeah, it'll be huge. I'm thinking at least like 30 songs, 5 from each. Wait, no, yeah. Wait, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25. You know what I'm saying?
It's 8, 16, 24, and 32 brackets.
If anything, I will
unless you've been playing games.
I'll see, this is why I need you involved. I'll probably get
I'm so sports induced, dog. That's all I think it's in brackets.
Yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Because if anything, we'll maybe just do 30, and then I'll let like because I'll probably get my little brother to like bring in the last 2, because like we need the youth at all times to like keep us fresh. Because I'm sure there's something that I never heard that he's definitely like had, you know, banging in his speaker for years. That's what I want you to get you involved with in the month to come. It's good to be fucking back. Calls to fucking action. First and foremost, speaking of just like keeping up with the news and things like that, H5N1 is around the corner. Yes, I'm talking about that bird flu. Do I know all the ins and outs yet? No, but I will soon. So in the meantime, if you are concerned of such a things, put one of these on. Over the nose, over the mouth, for the immunocompromised, for the elderly, for the children, and mostly for yourself. No pressure, just saying. Secondly, call to action. Drink more water. Who knows how long it'll be clean enough for us to drink. So stay hydrated. You know what I'm saying? It's the least you can do.
I'm just looking.
Hoping vax happens for the bird flu. Shout out to Novavax. I just got my Novavax today. My arm is sore as shit. Got the flu booster in this one. Third, call to action. You're going to get up from listening to this stream. You're going to go to the bathroom. You're going to stretch. You're going to wash your hands. You're going to look at yourself in the eye in the mirror. When you see your face, you say, "Hello, me. I love you." Say "I love you" to yourself and no irony, no shade, like earnestly say "I love you" to yourself. If you can't do it, I understand. It's hard. Please know that me, good Ole Los, we love you in the most like platonic and supportive way possible. What are you looking at?
2015 in music. And let me tell you something, brother.
Oh, here we go.
I am going to have so much fun with this. Because listen, do you even know what dropped in 2015?
Remind me.
To Pimp a Butterfly.
I'm about to ban Kendrick Lamar from this motherfucking list.
No!
I'm like,
Hood politics must be on this list. It must.
hey man, start cooking up your shit. Start cooking it up.
I don't like shit. I don't go outside. Dropped in 2015.
Man, bro, shout out to my dog Earl with like the bar of the century. What's it called? Free Gaza. We on the corner like Israelites. I ain't okay, but I'm gonna be alright. Like,
dog, Mr. Wonderful came out in 2015.
hey, shout out to that boy Bronson.
Cherry Bomb.
We don't speak about Cherry Bomb.
Why not? That was the back end of Cherry Bomb was him getting the last 3 albums of lyrical content out of his system.
You know, here's what I'll say. We needed Cherry Bomb because if without Cherry Bomb, we wouldn't have Chromacopia. Because like the Grammy nominations are out this year. He's not on it, but he will be next year, and he's sweeping hip hop. I'm telling you now. Man said number 2 in the city that's under Kenny. So
yeah. Dog. Welcome to Los Santos. The soundtrack for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Shout out Flying Lotus.
Banger. You Should Be Here, Kalani.
Damn.
And this is only a 2-month span, dog. Just a 2-month span. I'm looking at May right now, and it's looking like, oh nope. At Long Last, ASAP came out in May. Before the Money came out in March. That Joey Badass jump. Who else? Ew, Tiger came out. Ew, why?
Yeah. Ugh.
Meek Mill, Dreams Work More Than Money. Wild Heart,
the
Miguel.
First record. Wow.
Dog, like fucking. Even Tyrese put out Black Rose in 2015. I know we don't talk about it, but Pitbull put out Dale Earnhardt, dog. That's Pitbull. My God. Dirty Sprite. Oh my God. Dirty Sprite 2 came out in July 2015. Oh yeah, dog. This is about to be crazy. You know what?
Huh.
If I'm not mistaken, September of 2015. First of all, Meth Man dropped the Meth Lab in August of 2015. Compton came out in August of 2015. If you remember that Dr. Dre album.
I do not.
Rodeo came out in September. Travis Scott Jones.
Straight up.
959, J-Rock Jones. Came out
in
September.
Yeah.
I knew it. Good
What?
AM came out in 2015. In September
I should have
2015.
fucking known.
I knew it.
I should have fucking known.
Oh man, What a Time to Be Alive came out the next week.
I never heard that record before.
It was actually good, man. Well,
I'm talking shit. Of course, I've heard that fucking album. We don't speak of Mr. Graham in this household. Hey, but for real though, like rest in peace, Mac.
Documentary 2 came out in October. Yeah. I'm going to have a bit of fun with this.
Excellent. All right, good. We all need something to look forward to in the year to come.
Shadow of a Doubt. Oh my God. I'm sorry, man. Let me stop so we can go home, man. Because my 2015, I completely like forgot it was that lit music, dog. Freddie Gibbs dropped Shadow of a Doubt in 2015, dog. Adele dropped 25 in 2015. The Incredible True Story dropped in 2015. Like, god damn. Speed and Bullet to Heaven dropped in 2015, dog. King Push. Take this home.
In the words of the one who said, "If you know, you know." Yeah. Nah. But on some serious shit, and we'll say goodbye. Like I said at the top of the show, If you want to learn how to make the world a better place, I dropped 2 links in the description. One to Arab.org and also to rescue.org, which fully recognizes the humanitarian crises happening in the following nations: Palestine, Northern Kurdistan, Nigeria, Cuba, Syria, Lebanon, Bangladesh, Hawaii, Ghana, South Sudan, Darfur, Burkina Faso, Myanmar, Mali, Somalia, Niger, Ethiopia, Yemen, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. If you're on planet Earth, everyone has a role to play. If you're waking up, there's something on this planet that only you can do. Thank you for spending your time with us. I'm Chris Kennard. That's good old Los. Say goodbye to the people.
You guys take care of yourselves.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.